I received a call from a client that I had done some work in January this year for a repeat job for their staff who are in the headquarters. And the HR lead who called me just told me, come and speak to us about employee productivity. I must confess that threw me back a little bit. And I asked myself, what is this that they have in mind? Employee productivity is what the employee does when they come to work daily, whether they are doing it online, especially after COVID. Remember, after COVID hit, now we have like three models of working. One is a hybrid, where partly employees are in the office, partly they are working from off the office, either in the field or they are working from home. The second kind of model you are finding is where the majority have gone back to office. I was speaking last year to a HR professional, and he told me in their organization, which is an NGO, all of them have gone back to the office. And of course, you have the third, where you find majority are working from home. I was still speaking to a business person last week who does international consultancy, and he is in the HR space, and he does business with an American firm. And this American firm gave him some kind of a loan extension, a grant of some kind to set up a home office, and now he permanently works from home. So those are the three types of working models you're going to find today. A hybrid, partly working from the office, partly working from home. The other one is fully working from home, fully working from the office. So what are the do's and don'ts that employee productivity is concerned about? In fact, I remember in this particular case when I went in to train, it was a whole day training. The first thing I did is I gave an impromptu test on 3 areas of the organization to every employee. They were both management and entry-level employees. Number 1, what is the vision statement of our company? Number 2, what is the mission statement? 3, core values. And I want to tell you, out of 15 employees, only 2 employees scored 85% and above. Therefore, it means that yes, the core values are there, the vision statement is there, it's written on the wall, but majority of them really are not worried. And that is what aligns the organization, so that we all know what is the goal we are targeting. We also did some team building activities during that day to help to gel the team and to remind them that they should focus on one particular goal, that is the organizational goal, vision, mission, and the core values. So there are 5 areas that employee productivity is concerned about. The first one is what you call the company culture. We also speak about employee health. We also speak about team motivation, workflows and processes, work environment, and personalities. When you speak about company culture, this is tied around the vision, mission, and core values. That's for a fact. And you find that when employees know, remember a story is given of President Kennedy when he visited NASA premises in the US, and asked them, and found a sweeper who was cleaning, and asked the sweeper, what do you do for this organization? And the sweeper said, I'm helping to put a man on the moon. And that was the main thrust of NASA at that particular point. They had been given a challenge by President Kennedy that by the end of the 60s, in the next 10 years, they should have a man on the moon. So the sweeper on the floor knew that he was not sweeping. He was actually making the environment conducive for the aeronautical engineers and the other workers to be able to put a man on the moon. So the company culture is very important. The other thing that influences employee productivity of critical importance is motivation. And we say that motivation can be looked at in two levels: monetary and non-monetary. Monetary generally means cash, salary, bonuses, profit sharing, stock options. What am I putting in my pocket? What is getting into my bank at the end of the month? And that's where the rubber meets the road for many organizations. And that is very important, because unless somebody is volunteering, people come into work so that they can be able to earn something salary, which they can be able to do other things of their life, meet family needs, meet personal investment needs, personal development needs. So monetary is a great incentive, but you'll find it is not the only incentive. The other incentives that we speak about are non-monetary incentives. For example, a flexible working program. I can work from home, I can also work from, that can be a motivator. Another one is maybe, for example, being given extra time off if I have delivered on my targets. For example, being asked to be given time off to volunteer for a social cause. Or, for example, working within the organization on a project of my choice, like 20%. Google had that kind of a project. I don't know whether it's still there, where employees were given 20% of their working week to work on a personal project. Of course, that is connected to the organizational objectives, but it is what I feel and I like. And we are told, for example, AdSense, for example, Google Mail, for example, came out of that particular 20% time. This time when employees are working on the projects they love. The other way that the other do for good employee productivity, it is look at the workflow processes. Workflows and processes. Research has shown that employees in organizations say 30% of their workflow, their documentation processes are broken down. This is why you introduce a standard operating procedures to ensure that everybody understands this document moves from this office to the next office. How long does it take? Workflow processes also involves, of course, the issue of documentation, the issue of SOPs, how quickly you are able to do them, and also the issue of the issue of communication flow. Communication. In communication, we have what you call the Johar model, the Johar window, that speaks about feedback and communication. And Johar window is 4 quadrants that are divided into 4. The first quadrant, we say these are things that people know about you, and you also know about them. You also know about yourself. What you call the public or the arena. That demeanor, personality, characteristics that you take to your workplace. People know about you, you know about yourself, the arena. The second quadrant, we speak about things that people know about you, but you don't know about yourself. If you are a manager, a supervisor, a leader, a CEO, a chairman, the people working below you can see what are your soft spots, what are your blind, it's called the blind spot. What are your weaknesses? There's a traditional saying in one of the communities in Kenya that no man shaves their back head. You can't shave your back head because you can't see it. This is now what you call a blind spot. In an organization, people know what are your blind spots, and majority of the employees may take advantage of your blind spots. Some people have a blind spot of finance. Money get lost in their hands. Some people have a blind spots for female employees. They want to hang around. It's a man, and they want to make love sexual gestures. And, some people have weaknesses, blind spots for becoming angry very quickly, anger management. So your blind spots will be your undoing. The other quadrant which is here is what you call facade. Facade. Facade is what you know about yourself, but the people you are working together don't know. Maybe there was an organization you are working before, and money got lost and you are involved, but you have come here looking like a priest. So that is a facade, because there's something you are hiding. And that's why people sometimes say, that gentleman, that lady, I don't know, there's something fake about him that I do not understand. That's what you call a facade. That thing you are not understanding, it means that employee is deliberately hiding that part. Then of course you have the last quadrant, which we call the unknown. People don't know about you, and you also don't know about you, or potential. So what you do in terms of communication to improve the workflow processes is to do a lot of feedbacking. You ask your employees, you are easy with your employees, they also do a lot of feedbacking. I was interacting with some Dutch organization, and one of the things that Dutch people are known for in Netherlands, when you work there, is they give feedback honest, which almost look like they are challenging you. They will give feedback upwards to their bosses on spot. The feedback will be given downwards. They will even give feedback laterally to their customers and their suppliers. The levels of honesty are very high, the levels of feedback, and therefore you find when you do feedback, you reduce your blind spot, you increase the public, the arena, you reduce the blind spot, and you also, when you give feedback to employees and you share yourself, you talk about who you are, you reduce the facade, the fakeness, and therefore you find your public arena. And that's why you find most of the most successful charismatic leaders you have ever had. Nelson Mandela, talk about Mahatma Gandhi, talk about someone like Martin Luther. They had really opened their public, their arena to everybody, that people felt comfortable around them. But when you are public, your arena is very small, then that makes people become suspicious of you, and that affects workflow processes. The last do that you require to do is check on the work environment. That can work, that helps on improving employee productivity. Work environment, for example, the kind of chairs they are using, what you call ergonomics. Research has shown that when employees use chairs that take care of their back, they are more productive. Nowadays, in fact, there is a school of thought, and there are some organizations that have started working when, people are working when standing. Hotels, of course, you have seen it. Waiters in hotels, especially what you call fast foods chains, majority of them work standing. When people work standing, it has been shown to improve 100% of the work. So even in an organization, if it's somebody who is working seated for so long on a computer, they can be encouraged to have the half of the day, especially in the afternoon after they have taken their lunch, to work when standing. That has been shown to improve work almost 100%. Lighting affects the workplace. Allow natural lights, open the blinds. In fact, people who use computers for so long, if they work in a room that has natural light, it has been shown to improve their productivity tremendously. And of course, the other bit about work environment is to also ensure that you encourage people, even when they are working from home, to get a room, to create a professional room, because it has been shown that those who are working from home, if they do not have a professional setup around where they are working, it affects their work productivity. Because when they're office, they are more productive, there's a professional environment, but when they are at home, if they do not have a professional environment. In fact, I was seeing a gentleman sharing on one of the social media how he had cleaned, the clutter around his home working desk. That's very important. So remember, employee productivity will raise your game, will raise the organization finances, and will ensure that you get value from your employees and also value to the organization, and also overall the health of the employee